Now, why on earth is this one particular attacking move not being spoken about on social media or on TV or on any other football platform? I personally have no idea. But anyway, I'm going to break it down. I'm going to show you a real life example. So, there's only one thing to do, and that is, let's get into it. It's the pattern of play that involves rotations within the half space with the attacking midfielder, winger and centre defensive midfielder or fullback. So firstly, what on earth is the half space? The half space is the gap between the width of the pitch and the centre of the pitch. Just here. This corridor of space is the most dangerous part of the pitch to receive the ball on the half turn and make things happen. But in this example, no one is receiving the ball on the half turn. There's a rotation that just absolutely destroys low blocks. So it starts with the number 10 making a run forward when the winger has the ball. The number 10 makes this run forward and just goes offside. The winger plays backwards to the centre defensive midfielder. The winger runs across, and in the duration of that number 10 has peeled back here, onside obviously, and the opposition would now be focusing on the 7 who's really tucked in, the 6 who's now about to switch probably, right? No, the 6 will quickly play back here and there's the space. And then there could be those combinations where that 7 makes a half space run, makes an underlap here, receives the ball and then crosses the ball in. Or the 10 can put an early cross into the box or drive at the defence and just make things happen from there. But that rotation just creates all sorts of problems. So against this low block right here, as the fullback plays the winger, the 10 makes this underlapping run here, not even asking for the ball. As that happens, now he's offside, the attention is obviously on the ball. Now, the winger plays backwards to the fullback or to the centre defensive midfielder. As that happens, there will be some sort of pressure on the ball. As the 7 makes this run across that half space here, the 2 would follow and the rest of the defence would shuffle across. That leaves that much space right there. And then the 10 will be making this run here and the 6 just turns and plays back in that same direction. Now the 10 has space, there can be an early cross into the box where the 11 could meet the ball and score, or the 9 could be involved, or as the fullback presses the ball now, there's this much space. The 7 makes this underlapping run, obviously standing onside, timing their run to receive the pass in this sort of area, and now there's opportunities for cutbacks, crosses, chipped passes into the back post, and then from there, it's just about creating chaos. So this attacking move requires mobility, athleticism, dynamism from the number 10 to recognise that when they receive the ball in between the lines, in the pockets, and let's say they play out to the winger, or let's say the centre-back plays the ball to the winger, the dynamism, the mobility aspect of their game right here is to make this selfless run, not even asking for the ball. So number 10s, the willingness to make selfless runs, that is very important to your game. The willingness to say, you know what, I am literally going to make a run, not even ask for the ball, and then I'm going to be proactive in the next phase of play. So, making this run in the half space, not asking for the ball. The winger recognising this, and then playing backwards, but when they've played backwards, they don't just stand there. The next phase. Proactivity means, what am I doing next? I am making this run across just to create more problems, just to be a menace, to create chaos within the opposition's block, because that's my job as a winger. That's what the winger should be thinking in this scenario. As they receive the ball, they're playing it backwards, or what they do is they delay the play, they just stand with the ball, let the number 10 make that underlap, and then once the number 10 is now offside, that's the trigger to play the pass, make a run across, and in the duration of that, the recognition from the number 10 to say, okay, that was a selfless run, but now can I help the team by coming back onside and being an option to receive the ball. The number 6 or the fullback, whichever player receives the ball here, the ability to disguise. So Busquets does it very well, but when the 10 makes this underlap and the winger plays it to the 6 here, the ability to open up the game, to open the body shape, to pretend to play the switch to the far side, to really get the opposition to think that the play is going to be switched, and then the body shape of the number 6 is open to switch, the 10 comes back onside, and then it's down to the number 6's ability. A little reverse pass, a little soul roll to open up the angle, to play the pass back to the number 10, and then there's a 2v1 on the far side, on the opposition fullback, because the fullback would have tracked the 7 inside, and now in this scenario the fullback will press the ball, meaning that there's a gap between the fullback and the centre back. Can the number 10 and the 7 exploit it? Utilising this 2v1 scenario here, the 7 making that underlapping run, obviously timing their run as well, with a perfectly timed pass. Weight of pass is very important here as well. The 7 receiving the pass in this gap here, and then a cutback or a cross. Or the 7 makes this underlap or makes an overlap, and the 10 uses that as a decoy to drop the shoulder, force the fullback to think that the ball is going to the number 7, the 10 cuts in, and then there could be a threaded pass into the 9, or there could be a shot on goal, or there could be a cross into the back post where the opposite winger will be positioned, and then it's just once again about creating chaos, about disrupting the opposition's block, because the opposition obviously will be in that 4-4-2, 4-5-1 block, and the more rotations, the more underlaps, the more overlaps, crosses, cutbacks that can happen, the higher the chances of breaking this low block. And it all comes down to the detail. So when the 6 receives the ball and the 7 is inside and the fullback is following the 7 and the blue team have now shuffled across, can the 6 really exaggerate like they're going to play this switch? Because the more exaggeration there is, the more likelihood there is that the 10 will have more space. Because literally, as we saw in the real life examples, the attention is on the ball and the attention is on the switch of play. If the 6 can pirouette to this side and play a pass or play a reverse pass, and if we think creatively, the 9 could drop in for a gentle pass from the 6 and then a firm pass out wide to the 10, and then there could be a direct cross, an early cross into the box, into that dangerous no man's land right here, in between the defensive line and the goalkeeper, where the opposite winger is hitting the box, the number 8 is hitting the box, and the winger is hitting the box. So that's another alternative. But if the 9 is not going to be used because the 9 wants to occupy both centre-backs, the 6 could really exaggerate, pirouette, a soul roll, an outside foot, right foot pass into this space here. The 2 would be dragged out. The 7 is now spare. 7 overlap, underlap, utilise this 2v1, and then end product. Very, very important. End product is extremely important here. So if the 7 makes an underlap and the timing of the pass is good here, what's the end product like? Is it a cross that doesn't beat the first man and the 4 clears it out, which means the move is wasted? Or is it a delicate chipped ball into the back post where the 11 is, and the 11 could drop it into the 9 who could score, and then everyone could celebrate in the corner? The timing, the end product in this scenario is very important. It all comes down to decision making, knowing what to do, when to do it, and where to do it. And that right there is this very interesting, very innovative, creative attacking move that, once again, I don't really understand why it's not being spoken about. I don't know, but hopefully this video does that job. I'll see you in the next video, but until next time, and by the way, drop in your thoughts in the comments below on this particular attacking move and how effective it is. Which other team uses this attacking move? I know Man City use it with De Bruyne, with Kyle Walker, but now they've been transferred. And anyway, I'm just rambling on, but I'll see you in the next video. But until next time, as always, peace!